to lead things off. Beautiful Memorial Day. Great day to decide a state champion. Black to Hart and a strike to start. On Memorial Day, it's one game to decide the state champions. Thanks for joining us for GHSA On Demand exclusively on Comcast. As always, I'm Chris Mooneyham, and what a momentous affair it was as Parkview and Hillgrove met in the deciding third game of the state championship series. Parkview won game 1 6-5. Hillgrove won game 2 13-10, and they were both very dramatic matchups. We are on the campus of Parkview High School here in Gwinnett County. Hillgrove going to be the home team in this affair, despite the fact that we're at Parkview, by virtue of finishing with a better record. Carson Black, the 6 foot, 170-pound senior, on the mound. Josh Hart to lead things off. Beautiful Memorial Day. Great day to decide a state champion. Black to Hart and a strike to start. Josh has been a tough out for Hillgrove so far in the 2 games of this series. He's going to hit a little chopper down to second, fielding and throwing for the first out of the inning. And now Edwin Arias with one man gone in the first. I've started calling him the spark plug, and he would start a rally here in the first. A one-run rally, but it doesn't matter. It's a run nonetheless, and a big one early. Parkview with the first lead of the ball game, a solo home run. It's 1-0. That always big in front of Matt Olson. Matt, the power-hitting lefty, gets just behind one, serving it into left field, and he'll be the second out of the inning, which will bring up Zach Reinstein. Zach seen very little action in this championship series. He'll test the shortstop, and he'll also be the final out of the first inning. Now Parkview with a 1-0 lead, going to send Mac Marshall, a left-handed freshman, to the mound. A lot of pressure for Marshall as a freshman trying to win a state championship for his team. Justin Motley going to lead things off. Left-hander kicks and fires. And this one hit into the outfield, a clean single to start things for Hillgrove. That would be just the beginning of the offense. In fact, well, first let's see the chopper by Mozzie, little Baltimore chop, going to go into left field for a base hit. Or Baltimore. The T's silent. At least that's the way they say it. Here's Ryan. Ryan, the future KSU Owl. And a swing and a miss. He'll strike out for the first out of the inning. I mentioned a lot of offense in this matchup, and I mean a lot of offense. This would be a ball game that die-hard high school baseball fans in the state of Georgia would talk about forever. Here's Atkins. Michael strikes out. 2 men out in the inning now. Can Mac Marshall, the freshman, get out of it? Well, this is when it starts to get a little wild, with Tucker Emig at the plate. Runners at first and second, and a pass ball. A little off-speed pitch trying to decide. Motley going to decide to go. Justin will go head first with the sliding safe into third. Then it would really get nutty. Another pass ball for Marshall. Again past the catcher. Motley coming to the plate. He's got excellent speed and would score easily to make it 1-1. After Tucker was hit, the previous batter, Tucker Emig, was hit by a pitch. That'll move runners along, and here's Oberkoffler. Max has had a tremendous championship series, and he's got himself another RBI. This time with a single. This time it gives Hillgrove a 2-1 first inning lead. Now Tyler Graham. Graham, you may remember the losing pitcher in Game 1 of the championship series, but had some very big hits in the first 2 ball games. Another wild pitch. This time a wild pitch as opposed to a pass ball. Runner's going to move up. I don't want to settle that young catcher with any more pass balls than the young man has had. Hillgrove cannot afford to leave these runners out on the base paths, but it looks as though they will as Graham will fly into center field. They do get 2 runners on the board, or 2 runs on the board in the inning. 2-1. Parkview trailing with a meeting now on the field. Bottom of the second now. Going to have Ryan Blanton, Jack Ismondi, and Jarrett Freeland in the inning. And we'll have a single to start things. Just past the second baseman there. Good start for Parkview. That's going to bring up Jack Esmond now. Esmond, of course, got the save in Game 1 of the championship series. He's starting out in the field today. See that a lot at the high school baseball level, of course. Keeps a good eye at the plate this time and continues the rally in the second. His walk puts runners at first and second. Sparks a meeting at the mound. Big left-hander at the plate with a lot of power. And he'll get a chance to show it. Swing and a drive. Deep into right, cutting through the Memorial Day muggy air and out of here. A 3-run home run for Freeland. And the sophomore changes the complexion of the ball game completely. Still nobody out in the inning, by the way, and now Rob Youngblood. Right-hander kicks and fires. Rob going to smash one down to third, but up with it and across the diamond for the first out of the inning. And now Travis Narain. He'll test the first baseman, who will make the play unassisted. Good play, just beat the speedster. Now back to the top of the order and Josh Hart. Josh, after this single, which was a hard smash, good play by the fielder to hold him to just that single, would prompt Hillgrove into a pitching change. An honest effort out of the young Hawk pitcher, but cannot afford to stay with him if he's struggling, and that'll bring in Ben Lumsden. Lumsden started Game 2 if you've been keeping up with it. The senior saddled with the responsibility of trying to stem this offensive tide. And Edwin Arias in another big spot. And he'll hit one into the outfield, may fall for a base hit, and does. Edwin's got himself an RBI double, scoring his heart, and that's now 5 runs total, 4 in the inning. After an intentional walk to the big slugging first baseman Matt Olson, we'll get a look at Zach Reinstein. He'll hit one on the ground and be retired for the final out of the inning. 4 hits in the inning, as well as 4 runs. And it's 5-2, Parkview out in front. Robert Stewart, the man at the plate you see there, going to lead things off here in the home half of the second. He'll hit a ground ball. Good stop by the second baseman who loses his footing. Turns into an infield single. So Stewart reaches. He has 3 RBI and 2 hits in Game 2 of the championship series. Here's Eric Bagley. And Eric will walk. First 2 men reach, home half of the second. Bagley scored a couple of runs in Game 2. Pitching change. Again, don't leave any bullets in the chamber. Make as many changes as you got to. Stop these offensive rallies. It'll be Jesse Foster on the mound now for the Panthers. And he'll face Justin Motley. A wild pitch, and it turns out to be a big one. Hustling and getting his way down to third is Rob Stewart. And so Motley now with a chance to cut into the deficit. Foster. Motley hits one up the middle. Good stop by the shortstop, but another infield single in the inning. This time it plates a run, and we're at 5-3. Not only are we at 5-3, but you're getting into the meat of the order now. Here's Mozzie. If you're Foster, you got to be careful with this guy. And he gets just underneath one. Skies it to right. Blanton there, and he's got it for the out. Good throw back into the infield. Keeps the runner from scoring. More power with Ryan Raper coming to the plate. And he shows it off. Hitting one deep into center field. Bidding for the lead going back. Hart makes the catch just shy of the track. But the runner would tag and score. Bagley crosses the plate with the Hawks' 4th run of the ball game. Now Atkins. Michael, the leader of this team, a catcher, going to Middle Tennessee State next year. Gets himself a base hit. About 1,000 chopper there in the left field for a base hit. But can Tucker Emick get him in? Tucker hit as many hard balls in this series as anybody else. He lines one into right. Blanton coming on, and Ryan makes the play to end the inning. If that ball had gotten past the Parkview right fielder, that could have been a tremendously huge play. You see the score fest already. It's 5-4. Did I just say score fest? See, this is what happens when there's so many runs, and we're not even halfway through the slugfest, if you will, in this one. You're not going to believe. If you have no idea what happens in this one, you've got to stay tuned and see how this one turns out. Okay, let me get back to the action. I lose track. Ryan Blanton walks to start the inning. Here's Jack. And Esmond lines one into left. That's going to fall in for a base hit, putting runners at first and second. Good piece of hitting by that young man. Now Freeland. Speaking of good hitting, Justin already with a 3-run homer in this ball game. Doesn't need that to be productive, and he will deliver a clean base hit to right. Good throw coming back into the infield, and that'll keep the bases loaded for Rob Youngblood. Youngblood hits a chopper down to third. They come to the plate and get the easy out, and then the throw down to first gets down the line. 1 run will score. First error of the ball game, a very costly one. And the lead builds for Parkview. Boy, that is the last thing you need if you're a Hawk from Hillgrove. Now Travis Narain. He'll line one into the gap in left center field, falling for a base hit. This one looks like extra bases, which will score 1 run. Make it 2 runs. Lead has now built for Parkview, and another pitching change going to be made for Hillgrove. They're going to call on one of their best all-around players in Tucker Emick. Now back to the top of the order. Here's Josh Hart. Josh has been such an integral part of this season and this championship run. And he'll hit a ground ball down to second. Looked like an easy play, but instead it turns into an E4. Oh, you got to feel for that young man at second base. Second error of the inning. Opportunity for Arias to maybe bust this one wide open. Edwin hits a ground ball down to third. Tough to turn a double play with those 2 speedsters on the base paths, but the great defense, they do it anyway. A 5-4-3 double play puts an end to a very That lead for Parkview, however, would be short-lived. Here's Max Oberkoffler, and he'll lead off the inning, the bottom half of the third, with the old HBP. It's reaching the hard way. Now Graham. Tyler's really put a charge into some balls throughout this series, and Tyler does it again. Big left-hander, deep into right field. When I say deep, I mean way, way out of here. It's an 8-6 ball game on the 2-run homer by Graham. And now Stewart trying to keep the momentum going, and he gets himself a solid base hit to left. Stewart, a big-time speedster aboard. This is when the inning really starts to get hairy. You can live with a 2-run homer you've just given up because the bases are empty. But then you give up a single and a wild pitch, and it would be a big one because the runner would move down to second. That keeps you out of the double play. Good hustle by Stewart. Now Bagley at the plate. Eric. And an RBI opportunity.